Okay, all right. Welcome to One Too Many. Oh shit! All right, this thing's kind of scaring me, bro. I'm not in the kitchen a lot. No, I'm just kidding. I'm in the kitchen a decent amount. Yeah, super cool episode. This is my very, very close friend, family, brother, kid I grew up with, kid I have been, close family for years since I was a little baby.
Far back as friends go, really.
As far back as friends go.
Far back as friends go.
Yeah, we got some hair on that shit.
Oh, shit.
And, it might be yours, too.
Probably is.
Hold up, Mike. Yeah, talk right into that
there,
motherfucker.
yeah. Okay,
Sing your heart out, my guy. This is American. This is American Idol as well.
Yeah.
No, this is gonna be super cool. I've never done an episode like this before. We're gonna be cooking, and I'm gonna be documenting him cook because he's such an incredible cook. I think that he deserves to not only have this time with me, but also just like it's gonna be a great experience being with you during this stuff because I get to experience this
right
normally.
Yeah.
But like I think
it'll be fun to share.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited. I like cooking for people at my house, so it's it's cool to like document it and see what the hell what other people might think about it. So
yeah. And you already do a good job of that on your own, like on your own Instagram and everything like that.
So it's cool to collab.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming, right?
Yeah. So this will be a cool start for you and me. Hopefully, I can do more of these like this. But this I'm just gonna give it to my friend here, Tommy Cisler. Give him a round of applause. Cool. So we're gonna be making some food. What are we gonna be making today, bro?
Tacos. Keeping it simple. I had tacos the other day, so I got a couple leftovers to use up, honestly. And so we're keeping it real simple. I got some ground pork. I made my own chorizo. I seasoned it myself, and I'm gonna cook a whole bunch of it. Largely just because it looks cool, but also just so I have leftovers going for us. You know what I mean? So yeah,
of course. Of course.
So they're super basic, but you can make super basic tacos taste really, really good. So that's the plan.
Super cool. Where'd you get all your ingredients from?
I like to go to Quinto Sol, which is a local Mexican mart where they get a lot of our stuff. But the ground pork is actually from Sam's Club. I just bought it there.
Okay, fire.
Yeah,
because I've been going to Mexico Lindo, right? On Richmond Street?
Lindo, Michoacan.
Yeah, Lindo,
Michoacan.
Michoacan, yeah. So
that's another small market, yeah. Yeah. Where we live, we're really lucky. We got a lot of tiny little ethnic markets around. It's sweet, yeah. Yeah,
it's cool. It's great. Yeah. That was not here when I was living here in high school and all that kind of stuff.
Up a lot since we left, right? Now that we're back in town, it's a very different place.
Yeah.
The downtown used to suck. Now it's a super fun place.
Yeah.
Like rivals many other places I've been.
Yeah.
And we have a very large Asian community, a very large Mexican community, and so we get to eat their food, which is the best.
Yeah. For sure. Very good Asian food in Appleton, Wisconsin, mostly Laotian of the Hmong culture, which is also just they're amazing people, amazing food. Come to Appleton. Hold on, where's the Appleton travel Appleton travel agency? Hire me, my guys.
Holler.
Cool. So can we get into just a little bit more about you before we start cooking?
Yeah, of course.
Can we just talk about kind of where this kind of all started for you?
So cooking for me really started in college. I mean, I used to make mac and cheese for the homies when we were all baked in high school, which was kind of fun. But but once I got to college, I had an apartment right away. I didn't live in a dorm or anything, so I had access to just an oven to use and a stovetop, some pots and pans, and so like any other kid, the first thing I was into was just making spaghetti because it's easy. You just buy the noodles, you buy the spaghetti. But I started hanging out with some other friends, and we also kind of had an affinity for cooking, and that's kind of what really took it off. Because we'd get together, we'd be like, well, we're all broke. If we pool our money, we can make a better meal. That's really what it is. So once we started doing that, we all kind of started to develop a little bit, our own tastes for things. And then I started getting into kitchenware, like pots and pans and knives. And once you kind of get into that a little bit, it's a pretty easy step into the endless pit of interesting things that is food and home cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So over the years, we'd get together and we'd cook things in a crock pot for hours on end while we'd have a fire and just hang out and, drink cheap liquor because that's all we could do. And we'd eat like kings, and that was the kind of the thing we realized is that it's like, oh, you can make really good food for yourself if you just put in some time and effort.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and then I got into like posting photos of it on Instagram and stuff, and you get some positive feedback for that. So then I really started getting into doing things pretty extravagantly too, and like making things without cutting any corners and from scratch. And it's cool because there's always something you haven't cooked that you get to cook. And considering where we live, we still, in a pretty small town, still have pretty great access to like lots of different worldwide foods. So I still have yet to ever run out of things I haven't cooked. There's endless things. And that's probably why I enjoy it so much, is just because it's like, oh, I get to do something new again today. But, then I also get to find excuses to buy new toys to play with in the kitchen. That's also the other part of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a material drive there as well. But it's basically about what led me to where I am now, which is, pretty accomplished home chef. I like having dinner parties. That's the other part of it too. I come from a family, a pretty large family on my mom's side, that we have like huge gatherings. So parties have always been in my blood, and every time we get together, there's always too much food. So, sharing good times with your friends over good food is generally some of the most memorable experiences we ever make. So I try to curate those as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's crazy. we were gonna get to a lot of that. Those are like a lot of the questions that I was already gonna that I was gonna ask you later on. But like, there's so much more.
There's more
But
to that. Yes, definitely.
of course, there's so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. So, are we going to be using any like kitchenware today that's like specific to some of your cooking?
Yes. So one thing I love to use is cast iron skillets. They're relatively cheap, pretty easy to maintain once you learn. There's a small learning curve, but it's really not that hard. And my favorite part about it is that I have a huge one. It's 17 inches wide, and so I get to cook 4 pounds of pork at once, and that's really nice for food prepping. Yeah, so that's something I've bought it for 2 people now. It's like a housewarming gift.
Oh,
It's
nice.
a huge 17-inch cast iron skillet, and they both have absolutely loved it. So get yourself one. That's all I'm gonna
fire.
say.
That's
Yeah.
fire. Okay, cool, bro. You want to get into it? Let's fucking
Let's
roll this
fire it
joint.
up,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, I got this pan heating up.
Okay, cool.
Sick.
All right. So where are we going first?
First,
And you can talk into there if you want.
First, we're heading into the oven.
We're heading into the oven.
Yeah, because I'm gonna pull this bitch out.
Okay. All right. I'm going handheld with you all day while we do this, baby.
Come on now.
Yes, sir. You already know. Sure. Nice. All right. Am I getting in your way?
No, I need you to get the fire.
Oh, the fire. We'll get the fire going.
There we go.
Wow. Started it with his own hands.
So yeah, we're gonna get this thing ripping hot. And we're gonna throw all this meat in at once. And the thing about ground pork is you want to cook it really, really well done. It's not like ground beef, so you really want to like get all the moisture out, then render all the fat out, and then cook it really well in that fat. That's how you get really good ground pork for tacos.
Oh shit! See, I never knew that. That's dope. That's dope.
See, that's from trial and error, really, because I've fucked it up enough times to know.
Nice. Okay, so you've prepared the pork. What do you got all in it? Yeah, actually, yeah. If you can grab that, that's cool.
Yeah. So in the ground pork, I threw what? Let me think here. It was cumin, hot paprika, chili powder, garlic powder, onion powder, oregano, and black pepper, as well as that was it. Yeah. Oregano is actually a Mexican seasoning as well. There is Mexican oregano that you can buy. It's kind of hard to find though, so don't be afraid to use oregano in your Mexican food. It works.
What's kind of like some crazy spices or herbs that like for example, you just told me that there's Mexican oregano and I didn't even know that. Like, what else kind of rings to your mind in terms of like the herbs or the spices that you've come across that you were like, oh shit, I didn't even really know that was a real thing.
Probably fish sauce. Fish sauce is probably one of the most interesting seasoning things because it's so essential in like all Asian cooking, and it's just like anchovies covered in salt left out in the sun for a couple days, and they just squeeze them and they get this nasty black liquid off, but it makes or breaks like everything you make, and once you get used to it, you can't live without it. So I would say fish sauce definitely.
I don't know if I can get behind the fish sauce. I don't know if I can. I think I can definitely live without fish sauce. Okay, so we got this gigantic skillet, the biggest skillet I've ever seen in my entire life. Nice. Cool. So it's piping hot. We're going to be cooking it super, super hot. And if you need to put down the microphone, I totally understand. But that looks like an octopus right now for some reason from this angle. Yeah, cool. We got the KitchenAid. I was about to ask you, what are some of the other like kitchenware stuff that you've bought that you really, really love? And I can see some over here already.
This is a recent purchase
Knives.
of mine. KitchenAid is super duper fun, man. You can make so many stupid things that you never would have bothered to before. Breads, doughs. I made a cheesecake with it the other day. It's unlocked a lot of things because like that's one thing you just never really want to mess with. Really, is like kneading dough all day long, and then letting it rise and stuff. But this cuts the work out almost entirely. The biggest one though is fresh made pasta with eggs in it. Oh, it's so much better. You don't feel like crap after you eat it because there's tons of protein in it, and it's just good for you.
You're saying with eggs, if it wasn't eggs, what else would it be?
Oh, like when you buy pasta at the store, it's just regular wheat turned into wheat flour mixed with water, turned into a dough, and then dried. But when you make fresh pasta, instead of using water, you're going to use eggs as like your moisture. So it adds a way more of a bite to it, and it adds an intense level of just flavor that you get from the yolks as well. And then, yeah, like I said, there's more protein in it, so you don't, instead of just gluten, and it sits in your stomach a lot better.
Oh,
yeah,
that's crazy. I didn't know that they were using. I mean, that makes sense now because it's gonna be sitting on a shelf, right? Can there be eggs in it?
Yeah, no, not like that, not dried. No chance.
See, I never even thought about that. I'm like, I just know that there is eggs in pasta, and I didn't even think, or even, well, I personally, I don't even really buy pasta like that, but I never thought that there wouldn't be eggs in the pasta. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, exactly. So now I'm just trying to break this up as much as I can. Don't want any huge chunks for tacos. Just want to let it cook. So what I'm trying to do, because there's so much of it, I got to cook the moisture out first. But then once the water's gone, that's when it'll start to fry, and that's when you'll really get a really good depth of flavor.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the goal.
Yeah. Is there any kind of like key to like buying the right kind of pork? Like, have you ever can you?
No, pork's pretty universal. There isn't like a lot of grades of it. It's not like beef, because I just imagine there's not as much market for it. Like when people want to spend big money on meat, they usually get either seafood or like a really expensive cut of beef. You might be able to find a farmer who raises a special breed of pig, and then those are delicious. I've done that once. I bought half a hog.
Sick.
Bought a half a hog from a guy that was selling them at a farmer's market I was at. I think it was only, I don't remember what it cost. Maybe like $2.50
for the whole hog.
For half of the hog.
Oh, still, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah, and it's delicious. Oh, it was so much better than anything I've ever had before. Pork's my favorite meat. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people hate pork for some reason. I don't really know why. I mean, I don't think it's any like less healthy for you than anything else. And but I don't know. It's got a weird stigma for sure. But it's definitely my favorite meat. because it has its own flavor and it also takes on flavor really well. Whereas like chicken largely has little flavor and you got to flavor it yourself. And
100%.
beef kind of just tastes like beef. And it's hard to like really make things like really a lot of flavors shine with beef. So that's why I like pork myself the most.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
I think people kind of look down on the pork because it's just kind of like a dirty animal. That's kind of I think like the main like reason why I feel like people are like that towards pork. They're also like they're like one of the closest animals to like a human.
It's true.
in terms of like their feelings and shit like that. So it is kind of crazy because
they're really smart too, but it's kind of why they taste good.
Yeah. But you're also like kind of eating their fucking stress and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't just leave their bodies. They're not doing yoga and doing sound baths and saunas and shit. Well, I'm sure they're hot, but it's the same thing, especially with chicken. It's the same thing with fucking every meat these days. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where you're getting, unless you're getting it straight from a farm.
Everything dies in the end, including us, Kyle. Including us.
Yeah, I'm realizing that recently.
Yeah.
Been having good little trips. Have you ever been to? You've never gone to Mexico, have you?
I've actually never been to Mexico. No, I've been to Costa Rica before, so I have been to some Latin American country, but no, I've never been to Mexico.
Okay.
Quite a shame, honestly. I really need to go.
Yeah.
I really want to go to if I had my pick of any place, I would go to Hermosillo because the food's so good. Hermosillo, yeah. It's not really like a vacation destination place. It's kind of more like in the heart of northern Mexico.
Oh.
But it's like the birthplace of what we think of as like Mexican food in America, kind of. It's like the one place in Mexico where the main crop is wheat and not corn. And so that's where like flour tortillas came from.
Oh, right.
It's where like a lot of like burritos and things we think of as like, what do you want? Like Tex-Mex almost. Yeah. That's where like kind of that was birthplace. And I've heard it's like the best food in all of Mexico because
I know what you're talking about because you know Tomas, his family's from there. That's where his
from Hermosillo?
Well, I don't know if they're from that city, but they're from that region.
That region, yeah.
Yeah. Like wherever they're from the north. And like his whole family, like his abuela and like abuela and abuelo, they made and would eat only flour tortillas and stuff like that, which I almost despise. But I'm sure if I was in Mexico, I mean,
I know
it's probably fucking amazing, even right?
Corner nothing is usually how I go as well, but so that's the place I'd always want to go. Where have you been in Mexico?
I've been to Mexico City.
Yeah.
I've also been to Oaxaca. And that's really it. I've never gone to any of like the tourist destinations or anything like that. And I'm not really interested in tourist destinations in general. I'm just a big cultural guy, you know what I mean? So when I was in Mexico City, just walked around a ton, went to tons of really good restaurants. Oaxaca was amazing. I went on some mezcal tours. I was like sleeping in an Airbnb that was like in this tiny little neighborhood that was like outside of the center of the city. So I was like, literally my Airbnb was it was like a yurt. So it didn't have like air conditioning or electricity or anything like that. It was actually built on top of a garage. Okay. And in the garage, this like 85-year-old or 80-year-old, she might not have been that old. She was probably in her like 70s. Watch your foot. She had her own little cocina.
Oh,
so she was making me. I would go down there and freaking buy breakfast from her every single morning. It was amazing. Super good. And in Oaxaca, like the popular dish or the popular food there is tlayudas, which are they're almost like a quesadilla, but they're actually roasted over an open fire, and they're crispier, and there's not as much cheese and stuff like that. It's usually just the meat and like a little bit of whatever seasoning and stuff like that.
Oh, word. Okay. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, but highly recommend Oaxaca. You should definitely go there because the food in Oaxaca is amazing. But
yeah, I mean it's kind of where all the It's where all the good stuff comes from, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so where are we at now? It's looking like it's...
So the pork is cooking nice and good. As you can see, the moisture's, it's steaming a ton, right? So that means the moisture's coming out. But soon enough, most of the water will leave, and then all that'll be left is the grease. And that's what we're looking for.
So once you get the grease, then where do you go from there?
I just let it cook until it's a nice deep brown color.
Right.
That's
right.
how you. So that's how you're gonna get the nice color on it.
Right.
And cook it, and again, cook it really well done, because ground pork you generally want to cook well done.
Yeah. Is Mexican food your favorite food to make?
That's a good question. It's number 2, actually. I would say Asian food's probably number 1. Asian food's amazing because there's so much flavor, there's so many vegetables, and there's not a ton of fat usually. I feel like it's generally the healthiest cuisine. As long as you're not eating all that American fake Chinese sugar stuff, then you're largely in the clear. Yeah. Mexican food also really good, just generally a little fattier.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, not that that's necessarily like a bad thing, but just more calorie dense, so I don't try not to eat it as often. Yeah. But like Mexican and Asian food are really cool because they're very similar in a lot of ways in the way they construct flavors, but just obviously what they have to use is kind of just completely different.
I also feel like there's just so many different kinds of Asian food too. So it depends on what you're saying. Like do you like cooking like Thai food? Do you like cooking Chinese? Do you like cooking Japanese? Do you like cooking Korean, Indian food?
Yeah,
like
I
what?
like Indian food a lot too. So I would say Indian food's kind of its own thing, but that's a good point. You are correct. I don't really even have if I had to pick, probably Thai. But like, I love how clean and simple Japanese food can be too. Yeah. But one thing I was just popped in my head as we were talking about this is how you wouldn't know Asian food without Mexico, because chilies didn't even come to China or anywhere in the East until well after Columbus came to the United States. Same with tomatoes. There were no tomatoes in Italy. You know?
What?
So yeah. So like there was no such thing as spicy peppers in all of Asia until after they came to North America, because that's where hot peppers are from. It's from nightshades come from North America. South America. I
Interesting.
think, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a fascinating thing to think about, how so much of cuisine that we know today is a lot less old than you might think it is. Yeah. There was something I was going to mention. No, I can't remember.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I don't know, but we need to open a fucking window. It's hot in here.
It is hot in here.
While I open this window and you continue doing your thing. You've always got whoa, there we go. Nice. You've always got these crazy videos of you cooking and plating food and all that kind of stuff. Do you typically follow a recipe, or do you kind of pull inspiration from other videos that you've seen in terms of the full meal? I'm sure you do both, where you pull inspiration, but then you also create your own, obviously. I think you and Dalton do that all the time, but
yeah.
You can answer to that. But then also, what about the plating situation? You know what I mean? Because I know that not only do you guys make amazing food together, but you love you guys plate it well, which is so important in food.
Yeah, your eyes eat first, right?
Your eyes eat first.
Yeah, and I used to scoff at that idea.
The hills
just
have
cooking
eyes.
at home. I this isn't a restaurant. Why would I do that? But it's for me. That's why I do it. I do it so I think it looks good.
Yeah,
you know, yeah, right. And
but
looks matter a lot, especially on food. You can make things that aren't even really that edible.
Just a little bit closer
Yeah,
to
no,
your
you're
face.
good.
Yep.
You can make things that aren't even really all that edible, and they just look so good because they're
for
they're
sure.
cut and stuff like that. So, when it comes to plating the food, I'm just winging it. I don't really have much of a grand plan. I'm just kind of you watch other chefs do it. I feel like they probably teach you that in like culinary school, but I've never been, so I wouldn't know exactly if there's a specific art to that or if that's actually something that just kind of comes to people. Probably more that than anything. I would imagine that's kind of just a
Well, there's definitely an art to it.
thing.
They definitely play around with the ingredients and how to cut certain veggies or whatever, and then plate it for sure. But that's kind of like an interesting thing. Like, okay, so you haven't been to
no, I never took any
school.
sort of cooking classes or anything. I've largely just it's largely just like things I steal off the internet and YouTube. Rarely do I ever follow a recipe to a T. I almost feel like I have to change it up in some meaningful way just to kind of make it more my own. But that doesn't necessarily mean I don't follow I'm trying to think though. I will say people have bought me cookbooks a ton, and I hardly ever open them.
Really?
Yeah, almost never. I don't know why. Yeah, it's funny. I've never really got into cookbooks specifically.
Bro, the fuck's going on, man? Why?
Why?
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess I would rather. I don't know. I just don't think to reach for them is more what it is probably than anything. You
don't think to reach
for them. Yeah, just simple as that.
Okay, so there's no like chef that you're like inspired by, or because they usually they write their own books, right?
That's true. Yes. No, nothing. I don't really have a favorite. I've watched everybody. I've watched everybody who cooks on the internet probably at least once. But no one sticks out as like the one I follow like religiously. They're kind of all just amalgamates into it.
Amalgamates. Look at that. He's even using food terms.
Is that a food term?
An amalgamation.
I don't think that's a food term.
I thought that might have been a chemical situation.
Chemical reaction.
Speaking of chemical reactions, you were you did graduate with a chemistry degree, correct?
Yes, I did.
Right. So, can you say that kind of plays into how you've cook?
Less than you might think. I would say more than anything, learning thermodynamics has actually helped me more than anything, which is, while it's a part of chemistry, it's a lot more physics, actually. But I don't think about the what's going on a chemical level all that often. It does happen because cooking is so much more touch and feel. Baking's kind of the science. Baking's the real like sugar and like glutens and like fat compositions at like very specific percentages. That's kind of where the most of the chemistry goes down. I rarely measure most of my ingredients. I'm kind of just eyeball it almost all the time. But when I'm making something like cookies, like if you don't follow a recipe to a T, everything's, the difference between using cold butter and warm butter will completely ruin your cookies. So, that's really where the science comes in. And that's something I'm getting into more recently is baking and making desserts, but it's something I've definitely avoided because it always felt like school.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I remember taking baking classes at Roosevelt right over here.
Oh, I think, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember they had us make a batch of cookies.
I think that was Mrs. Bush who was the teacher.
Was it?
Something like that?
I didn't have her for that part of it. I remember that class. We're talking about the middle school we both went to. It's actually like 2 houses down.
Yeah, literally 2 houses down. Give me 1 second. I'm going to give a clap here.
Word.
Cool. We're good to go. Keep rolling. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they definitely had a baking class.
Was it no, it was home. It was like home goods or not home goods. Home skills.
The whole classroom was literally like built like they had cupboards, they had the little kitchen and all that kind of shit.
No knives though.
You learned how to sew there as well, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? Well, I did.
I think we did.
Yeah, we 100%
No, you're right.
did,
I never.
yeah.
I wish I would remember that. There's a few things I wish I could have sewed recently.
Yeah. Okay, so you're getting into baking more. Like,
Yeah.
what's that kind of looking like? Wait,
Um,
didn't you post something the other day or about baking something? Or am I crazy?
Maybe.
Okay, so you're getting into baking more.
Honestly, can't
What's
remember
kind
if
of like that road look like for you right now? Like, what are you kind of getting into?
Pizza is the big one.
Oh,
Pizza's the big one for
pizzas.
sure. Pizza doughs. Yeah, I'm buying all different types of flours now. I just found this thing called dough conditioner, which I'm interested to try. It's just like steroids for your yeast and your gluten to form, which is kind of fascinating to think about.
Is that mine or yours?
That's a good question. I think that was mine.
What were you about to say?
I don't remember.
That
Hold
made
on.
you laugh. You bought the conditioner.
Yeah.
The dough conditioner, and then you were like,
you mentioned my buddy Dalton, who we like to cook new stuff together all the time and just cook together. We tried to make some burger buns with it. It was like one of the things the guy said was like a essential part of making these burger buns, and we just totally botched it for like multiple reasons.
okay, why?
Well, that's baking though. You botch things all the time,
yeah.
especially when you're learning.
Yeah.
It's not easy to figure out.
Okay, so I was thinking you were going to be baking more. You know, like when you said baking, the first thing that came to my mind was like, oh, he's going to be making desserts and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
That
so
too.
if it's not
I definitely made a cheesecake recently. That was pretty fun.
Oh, you made
That
a
was
cheesecake?
Yeah, I did make a cheesecake. It was actually a Basque cheesecake. Look that one up. It's you don't make a crust even. You just bake the batter. You put a little bit of flour in it and like a lot more egg than normal, and you just cook it like overdone. Like a cheesecake, you normally never want to. With a cheesecake, you normally never want to brown it much, and you don't want it to crack either. So this one, you specifically want it to brown and crack. So it's like infinitely easier than a typical cheesecake. And a good first cheesecake, if you ever want to get into making cheesecake, that's the one I'd suggest.
The Basque.
Basque, as in Basque, Spain.
Oh, okay. That's literally what I was about to ask. Yeah.
Yes.
The Basque country.
Yeah.
Basque country. I have a friend from the Basque country.
Oh, really?
Basque. Yeah.
The Basque.
Okay, cool. Look at this little tweezers he's got right now for the
little chef's tweezers, yeah.
little chef's tweezers. I love that.
Yeah, this is what a lot of chefs use. Usually smaller, but I got a whole array because I like buying kitchen stuff.
You got a what?
I got a whole array of these things
Oh,
because
yeah.
I just like buying stuff for my kitchen. If there's a tool I don't have, I want it. Right?
Nice.
It's kind of like a guy with like a workbench kind of thing. Except my workbench is my kitchen kind of.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Could you ever see yourself like starting your own thing?
Probably not. I like cooking for me. I like cooking on my own time. I like cooking without a bottom line. So I enjoy it just as a hobby. It's kind of my thing. Maybe get into making some videos and put them on the internet. Maybe.
Yeah.
But even that kind of sounds like it could potentially suck a lot of the things I love about it.
What about private chefing?
Like
Like being somebody's private chef and literally getting paid full time.
never
to
considered
do that.
it, honestly.
Never considered it.
No, sounds too much like a butler to me. I don't know do you want to be a butler guy?
Oh God, a butler. Shit,
I mean,
Jimmy Butler's got a personal chef, bro. You could be a fucking personal chef for a fucking
For Jimmy B,
for an NBA player or
Great
some
guy.
shit, you know?
Great guy.
What about starting or like making your own like book or recipe situation, something like that?
Sounds like a hassle, man. I don't know.
Well, don't people ask you all the time like what you're making and how you made it and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, kinda. I mean, yeah, people are like asking about it. I don't know. I again, I do it for me. It's for me. I mean, I like doing it. I like cooking for other people, but like the enjoyment of cooking It's just all for me. It's the way I try to keep it, at least, and try not to worry too much about like every other thing. You could make a video and you could totally fuck it up, and then you could, I don't know. I guess I just don't have a huge drive for it. I just think people ask me this all the time, and like the answer is generally like, nah, I just don't really want to do that.
Nothing in regards to like you wouldn't want to like make your own recipe book.
Probably not. No, because I never write down anything I make. It's
you don't
all
write down
like,
it?
ever. No, I probably should a little more often, but I don't know. That's not something I'm thinking about while I'm doing it. It's like recording each step. There's a couple things. I got a couple things that I stick to pretty religiously, like my chili or something. But like this is like all something. Just like, what do I got in the fridge, kind of. Like you can always change a recipe, or like what something is, with making some easy substitutions.
Yeah. I think you do plan out a lot of your stuff though. Like
plan it out.
Definitely
plan. Yeah. A lot of all the best meals take more than one day. You got to do something 2 days ahead of time or 1 day ahead of time.
Yeah.
So you always, you got to plan some things out, but
yeah,
I don't put too much effort into recording what it is, unless I will say when I'm with my buddy Dalton, he's big on writing things down, so things get recorded a little better that way.
That's dope.
Me and him do it, yeah.
Shit, you guys could fucking make your own recipe book together, and that'd be fucking dope. Because I know that I definitely am curious about some like a lot of the stuff that you're making, and I know that people that follow you, especially the more that you make, whatever that doesn't even make a difference, but like you don't this, but the more people that like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess if it's a thing that ends up happening, whatever, it's just an idea. That would be fucking dope.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be.
Okay, cool. So this is done cooking.
Yep. Now I'm just warming up some tortillas, and then once that's ready, we're gonna make a little guacamole, and we're gonna plate up some tacos. It's gonna be good.
Oh, sick. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna move a camera around, so we'll take a quick break now that this is donezo. And where are we gonna be next? The guacamole is gonna be over here.
Yeah, that's exactly where we're going. Over the cutting board.
Cool. Yeah. Let's do it. All right, cool. So this is going to be the section where Tommy is finishing up warming up the tortillas. The chorizo is ready to go. I'm going to have a drink of beer. Yummy.
Spotted Cow, tell you in Wisconsin.
Spotted Cow, we love you. New Glarus, we love you. And I am going to... Woo. I'm going to be making a cocktail. I'm going to be making a paper plane. It's not, I don't know if it's the best cocktail to go with chorizo, but it'll be good. I did actually have it with chorizo last week. Paper plane is a classic cocktail. It is equal parts, 3/4 of an ounce, equal parts Amaro Nonino, which is a fantastic, pretty... orangey herbal Amaro from Italy, Aperol, bourbon, and fresh lemon juice. So I'm going to get started on that. He is just putting everything in the oven. We're going to be eating in a second, and he's going to be making guacamole. While we start rolling. Let's see if I can get this on you over here. Cool, then I'm just gonna need to get a clap on this little guy right here. Ready? Where's that microphone? There. Oops. What the fuck's happening here? Down. There we go. Nice. I'm going to. Let's see here. Look at this. Let's see what we can get over here. Let's get you in the shot still. We'll just get your hands. We'll get your hands. We'll get your hands just like I had it a second ago.
That's the spot right there.
That look good?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. So, shaker, nice and easy. I'm going to make one for me and also one for him, obviously. So we're going to be doubling up the measurements. Oh, look at that. Lemon in the glass. Bing, bing, bing.
Love to see it. So Kyle, how long have you been shaking drinks?
I have been shaking drinks since 2010.
Okay, dang, yeah.
2010. And here's a little tip for everybody while I make these. This is your classic shaker, Boston shaker set is what it's called. This is not like a duo, but this is typically what you're going to find. This would typically be tin as well as the shaker. You always build in the glass, or you always build in the shorter side of the tin, because when you actually shake a drink, that's the total amount that it's only going to be able to hold is the smaller side. So you always build in the glass, and then you put your shaker on top, and then you push down on it so that it's tight, and then you flip it, and now the smaller side is going to be facing your body, and your hand's going to be on the bottom of the shaker, and now you're going to do big, long shakes out from your body, out from your chest. So that is a typical Boston shaker set, how to make a cocktail. Build in the glass, pop the shaker, the tin on top, down, flip it, hand on the back, hand on the bottom, push, 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 push until it gets really cold. Okay, you always want to have one finger or two fingers on if you're going to be doing one-handed. Two on the top and definitely two on the shaker, and then we'll pop the side of it to loosen the top, and then your strainer will go on top and pour into your glass. Been making cocktails since 2010. I started working in the service industry in 2005.
Okay.
2005 at Fratello's here in Appleton.
My buddy is the head chef there right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Colin Buckley.
Oh, yeah, I know Colin
Yeah,
Buckley.
he's killing it.
Is this a 1 and a 1.5?
I think so.
Okay.
It looks too small
Yeah.
to be a 2.
So, yeah, started at Fratello's, and I started bartending, though, in Milwaukee at $2. That's where I learned from my friend Jason Evans, who was also the head coach at, he actually was he ran the men's club volleyball team at UW Milwaukee. And then he got me the job at $2. And during that time, I was also bar backing at Moe's Irish Pub downtown Milwaukee as well. And then I ended up bartending there after they realized that I could bartend, and I was already bartending at $2. And then from there, it's been a whole fucking ride. A whole big ride. All over New York.
All over New York.
But
I've also been mixing cocktails now for
yes,
shit. I want to say what?
Of course.
8 years now? Off and on.
Yeah, we were gonna talk about that when we went and sat down, but now that you bring it up.
Oh, we can wait.
No, I'm just joking. Because I was thinking about that. I'm gonna use this.
Go ahead.
You gotta sharpen this one.
I know I do.
I was thinking about that because you've made a transition into bartending. Now, as you said, it's been 8 years, which is like crazy to my mind. Like I can't believe that it's been
That
8
could be
years
wrong.
already.
That could be wrong. How many years is it?
Right. I don't know. When did
Well,
you?
I bartended for a few years at like a sports bar
Where?
in Milwaukee. Remember? You were gone by then, I think already.
Slip your left real quick.
Yeah, you were out of there by then already. Yeah, it's just like Rustico was the name of the place.
Oh, I know Rooster.
Yeah. But yeah, I got out of it for a long time as well. Then when I moved back to Appleton, that's when I started working back into it as well. Just because I was looking for some side cash, but I kind of fell back in love with it. So now, that's what I'm doing.
Did you bartend anywhere else in Milwaukee?
I worked for the other company that Moe's owned, Moe's Steakhouse, for like a very brief moment.
You worked at Moe's Steakhouse?
Yeah, remember that? Remember we talked about that for a minute.
Did I get you that job?
No, you didn't. No, I just.
Are you sure?
I'm positive, dude. I don't ever even know. I think
you got a job at Moe's Steakhouse?
Yeah, I just applied there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a decent gig for a little bit. It was a very short thing. They didn't really like me, so I wasn't there very long.
I remember this. I remember this.
Yeah,
I remember this.
They were huge fans of me, so I didn't stick around very long.
That's a tough place for you to go, like...
Not really knowing much about bartending?
Not knowing much about bartending.
Yeah.
With that clientele, you were in college, you were still a little fucking...
Yeah.
Like, right now, you could go and bartend.
Oh, easily, yeah.
You know...
I can bartend circles around those cats, probably, these days.
Yeah, it's a different... That clientele, you're getting a lot of NBA players, lots of people with money.
Lots of boomer vibes.
That too. That's for sure. That is for sure.
Oh, I want this right here.
Alright, there's going to be some seeds in here. I'm sorry, buddy.
Oh, you got a strainer?
Well, yeah. Okay. So, you build in your glass. Here's also a little... Nice, thank you. A little note for anybody who's building cocktails at home. When you are building a cocktail, and some people might disagree with this, but you always want to start with your sugar first, and then go your alcohol, and then the acid at the end.
I agree with that.
When you are building a cocktail, especially because the way that you use your jigger, if you're not using acid on the end, then you're using the sugar on the end. Your jigger is just going to get super, super sticky while you then continue to build cocktails, and then your hands are going to get nasty, and it's just, it's an easy way to keep your hands clean, keep your, whatever bar you're working in clean, and definitely keep the jigger clean. And at that point, you really don't need to rinse it out as well. If you already have the acid on the very end, right? It pretty much clears everything that's in there, all the sugars and all that kind of stuff. So, ice goes into the building glass. Into the building glass, where all your alcohol and sugar and acid are. Pop a couple in there. So this is the other thing. So, right, like when you're building a cocktail, like now all the ice is in there, right? This is a larger container. That's why we always put this on top. Okay, and have a little water in there. And we don't want to go all the way to the top there. We want the ice to be able to fill in, so that now we have a little bit of room, because when we shake it, there's also going to be more water that is diluted into the drink. Here we go. This is the classic cocktail. I don't have an actual strainer, bartender strainer, so.
Oh, it's in my fucking dishwasher now.
It's in the dishwasher. But that's okay.
Oh, yeah, you made that happen. I'm proud.
Proud of me?
I said no proud, but also proud of you.
Thank you. Cool. A little leftover in there. We'll take her down in a second. If I had a peeler, which I can just peel.
I gotta watch it.
Got a peeler in there. The end of a paper plane is always going to be a lemon twist. Some bars will cut if you cut a little slit into the middle of the peel, it can like sit nicely on the edge of the cup. That's something fun to do. Otherwise, you would just express your lemon peel over the glass. So the outside of the lemon zest, you're going to squeeze and move across the top of the glass. You got that right next to the microphone.
Oh shit.
So you're going to squeeze. When you express your peels, you're going to squeeze with the zest facing the top of the glass. Squeeze and move across the glass as you squeeze. That's how we get the lemon expressed across the top. So we get all that aroma while we drink. And the flavor on our lips from the glass as well. We'll get the close-up right here. Here we go. Give it a little thing there. I like to go zest side up. Bring it a little bit closer to the can. Shing, 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 shing. Now we want to go zest side up. Boom. Okay, cool. Time to eat. Cheers first.
Cheers.
Ooh, a little full.
Ah, what a good drink. I love good play.
Bro, show these motherfuckers what we're working with right now.
DJ, spin that shit. We got corn.
Talking to the mic.
Oh man. Here we got these white corn tortillas with our house-made chorizo, homemade. And then I like to slice up red onion, green onion, and cilantro really fine. That's basically the topping on any sort of Mexican thing I ever make. And then just some like crumbled queso fresco and a lime on top. And then I got some fresh made guacamole I made here. Also with more cheese because we're in Wisconsin, baby. We like cheese.
That's a fact.
It's
That's
a fact.
fact.
It's a fact. Facts. Yo, hit me on them facts.
Yeah, now you're talking like a New Yorker.
Like
I like that.
95. Hit me
I
with
like
them
that,
facts.
baby. Talking like
Send
a New
that
Yorker.
facts. Hey.
Talking like a New Yorker. My guy.
What you know?
Shit, I gotta turn down your microphone. Otherwise, we're just screaming too loud. Put your headphones on so you can hear yourself really well. Had to get that shot of the food real quick, though. Because that shit looked delicious. Oh, I didn't even get the guacamole. I gotta get the guacamole. Okay,
You didn't get the guacamole?
No, I didn't get the guacamole yet.
Motherfucker, you didn't get the guacamole?
Not yet. Tell them how you made the guacamole.
Guacamole. I mean, again, using that finely chopped red onion, green onion, and cilantro. You just mix it in there with a little bit of lime juice. Don't cut your avocado pieces too small either. That's another big thing. Keep them kind of chunky because you want some chunks in there. And so the outsides will kind of turn into mush, but then like the centerpiece will stay as like a nice hunk. I mean, yeah, I like to top it with cheese. I think it's nice. I think it adds a nice presentation. And always serve it flat on a plate too. Don't be serving it in no huge bowl. Like spread it out. That's how it looks the best. That's what I think.
Well, that's kind of an interesting take. It kind of looks like a carpaccio.
A little
You
bit.
know,
Yeah,
like
I
when
mean,
it's
I
like
see what you mean. Yeah, I just feel like it makes it, especially guacamole is meant to be shared, so like give everyone an angle at it with a plate as opposed to a bowl where everyone's like, ugh.
Give everyone an angle at it, he says.
My fingies are all dirty in this bowl, you know?
Do me a favor,
no
talk into that
fingies.
microphone a little bit more.
Ain't no fingies getting dirty when you got your avocado on a plate. That's all I'm saying.
Why can't I hear you well? Can you hear yourself in those microphones?
Yeah, I can hear myself pretty well.
Okay, that's better.
That's better?
Okay, yeah, so it's mine. Let me see here. Which one is mine when I turn it down? Okay, so that's mine right there. Okay, cool. So I just need to turn yours up a little bit. You got that deep, raspy, just fucking silky. That's silky.
That's silky silk.
That's you got that silk.
Just smoked a little bit of weed and the back of your throat's all raspy kind of voice.
No. Much better than that. That's terrible. That's terrible, especially for you. You have a much better voice than that. Shit, kid. Well, thank you for making this food.
Absolutely. It looks delicious, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is going to be incredible. So,
see what I mean about the browning and the fat? It's what matters. You gotta cook that. You gotta cook that ground pork well done, like well past what you think is done.
Mm-hmm.
Keep cooking that son bitch. You know.
Yeah.
Keep cooking it.
Just keep fucking
cooking it. All right.
Yeah, it looks incredible. And then you got a little cilantro and onion, red onion on top,
and green onion.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Mm-hmm. Very nice. And a little queso fresca on top as well, just like the hunky.
Simple.
It's hunky guacamole. It's made for hunks.
Precisely.
Yes.
Precisely.
That's who you made it for.
That's right. A couple of hunks. You're parking on that drink awfully hard over there, Kyle.
Parking. Ooh, wow. Parking on my drink. Haven't heard that before. Actually.
Never heard that before?
No, I've never heard that before.
Parking on it?
I have not.
That is a fine drink, sir. Well done.
Thank you, man.
Yes, that is very good. I like a good paper plane. Nice color, nice presentation.
Yeah.
Got a nice bite from the whiskey and the lemon.
Yes.
And it's well balanced with the Amaro. It's a wonderful drink.
It's a perfect drink.
It really is a perfect drink. It really doesn't need anything else.
But you have to have fresh lemon juice. If you don't have fresh lemon juice, like you
might as well not even walk in. Yeah, leave. Just leave. If you don't have fresh lemon juice.
I think that's kind of a thing in general. No matter what cocktail you're making, like if the bar you're at, or if you're at home, and you're making that shit with like that, what's that brand that comes in the green bottle?
Oh God, cocktail. It's something. Oh,
no,
God,
it's just like lime. It's just like lemon.
Oh, roses. Is that what you're thinking of?
Worse than roses.
Rosies
or roses, whatever.
Yeah, whatever the hell that is.
It's worse. It's the one that comes in the green bottle.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And sometimes you can get like the mini lemon juices that are shaped like a lemon, or the the lime juices that are shaped like a lime.
Oh, those are no-go. Yeah,
no, they're
are
fucking
so sour it hurts.
Well, and also like, what the hell are they made out of? They're not made out of actually any.
I mean, they sit on a shelf, don't they? Yeah, they're not even refrigerated.
They're not made of any real fruit juice, that's for sure.
I mean,
but please don't make your cocktails with that shit. That's disgusting.
Squeeze a couple lemons and limes. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Again, and get yourself the proper tools to do the job.
Yeah.
I mean, a lemon squeezer is probably what, $8?
Yeah, super cheap. Super cheap.
So yeah, get yourself one and don't fuck around anymore, people.
Yeah. Let's get into this food. Okay, so I'm gonna squeeze the lime first.
Can
obviously.
We get a slow-mo shot?
Oh, God, I wish. I could shoot you squeezing yours if I want.
No,
it's
all
down,
good.
but
It's all good. Get in there.
I mean, I think anybody who knows anything about tacos is that you better fucking squeeze lime on. I like to have a lot of lime though. Like I usually ask for extra limes when I'm in a.
I got more limes.
Yeah. We're gonna need more limes for sure.
Right. Well, here.
But that's just me.
You snake this one.
Yeah, I'll snake that one. Okay. There we go. Cool. So while I do this. What's your go-to cocktail? I mean, right now, I think
that's a really good question, actually.
Yeah,
because someone just pointed at the bar I work at. It's a craft cocktail bar, right? And then so my coworker was like, "You don't have a regular drink, do you?" And I was like, "Oh, I guess no. I never even realized I don't. I never ordered the same thing 2 times in a row ever.
It's never happened.
Not since." Not since
it's never happened.
George Bush was president. No, right now, I mean, I love egg white cocktails. So, if you can get your hands on one of those, I find you're not as hungover the next day because you get a little spot of protein along with your drink, with your bevy.
You think it's the protein that's saving you?
I think so. I think, a little bit of food helps you out. But I mean, my favorite thing to make and probably consume is a margarita. Just a really good margarita. Kyle broke the cardinal rule.
If I knew that you were making tacos, I would have probably tried to bring over some margaritas.
I guess, we didn't really plan that very well, did we?
No.
Well, doesn't matter.
Well, cheers, man.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers to some guac. Some guac. Let's get a little guac on the chip first, and then we can cheers.
Crunch sound. Oh yeah, we're gonna cheers it too. You're
There
right.
we go. There we go.
Bam. And then are you ready for this, people? Oh yeah.
That sounded amazing.
All right.
Now, we didn't make the tortilla chips though.
No, I didn't do that.
Right.
I have fucked around with that once before. Hard to make them really good. I think you gotta have these are them thicky thicks, them Dunkin' Downs. It makes all the difference. So if you just buy like tortillas and chop them up, it doesn't really work as well.
I made chilaquiles for the first time last weekend.
No way.
Yeah.
That's
or 2 weekends ago.
Delicious meal.
Yeah.
Um,
It was great. And I fried the cut up pieces of tortilla in oil, avocado oil,
have to.
and then you toss them in salsa verde after they're already crispy.
Yeah.
Pop that egg on top, queso fresca, crema. Crema first.
Did you
queso
buy
fresca
that crema from the Quinto Sol? Or
no, from
did they have like
Michoacan.
Did they have like Honduran style? Have you had that?
I'm not sure.
It's incredible, dude. They have this amazing sour cream that I think they import. I don't know where else it would be, but it's. Oh yeah, no, it's so cheesy. It's got so much like depth of flavor. It's unlike any other sour cream I've ever had here in the States. So if you can get some of that good imported from Guatemala or Honduras, check it out. That's all I'm saying.
Nice, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I know that they ship they get a lot of their products from Chicago.
Absolutely.
Michoacan does. Mm-hmm. I know the owner goes down to Chicago and gets a bunch of his
for real?
stuff from there. But yeah,
Love it.
So no go-to cocktail, but right now you're loving the egg whites.
Yeah,
I've gone through the egg. I've gone through the egg white phase. Fat
Yeah.
washes are always something for me. Like if there's a fat wash, like I'm fucking going fat wash. It's just so
That's
good.
so good. It is so good. You could really take a drink to another level with a fat wash.
Yeah.
I guess I'm trying to think if I had to pick something to really like hang my hat on right now. Probably rum. So tiki drinks is definitely something that rum is the new rabbit hole. It's kind of endless. Rum is funky. There's some weird stuff going on with rum. You can get some flavors that you won't get with anything else with rum. So
Yeah.
and I'm always flavor chasing. You know.
Any particular like Puerto Rican rum or Cuban or
No, nothing specific. I mean, I don't know enough to really say, to be completely honest. I'm pretty brand new to that world. So
cachaça?
Cachaça is really, really good too. That definitely had a moment up here when the Packers played the Eagles in Brazil. Yeah, we at the craft cocktail bar we use cachaça for drinks every once in a while, and we couldn't get any for like a month because everyone and their mother bought a goddamn bottle of cachaça at the grocery store because they were making caipirinhas.
Interesting.
Yeah, when the Packers were playing in Brazil.
Interesting.
Go Pack.
Go Paco. You got a little avocado hanging in the right side of your beard.
Good.
I think you got it.
I'm honestly excited about that.
Why don't you take us into some of these tacos right now? You want one of mine because I got the lime on them?
I do.
Yeah. Take one. Yeah. Or they're ours. All
right, putting this down.
Yeah, do that. I'm glad that we talked about you transitioning into the bartending situation because I think that's a really dope journey for you, especially like me coming home. Tommy actually works at my sister's restaurant and bar, so that's been something really cool to be around. And then he also works at what I think is the best cocktail bar in Appleton right now, Appleton, Wisconsin, called the Commodore Club, like he mentioned earlier. And this whole area is kind of blowing up with more just cultured and more elevated food and food and drink just in general. Like the whole hospitality is kind of like elevating right now, which is really, really nice. I think there's a couple things that I do want to ask you more so regarding food. And then maybe we can come back to, more of the alcohol situation. But I think one of the things that I wanted to ask that I haven't been able to ask yet is, like, what do you feel, and maybe we can do about 3 of them, right? So, like, what is maybe, like, 3 of the hardest techniques or maybe aspects of cooking And maybe that depends on the style of food, or maybe it depends on what exactly you're making that day. But I do feel like, I mean, I'm sure something can come to your mind about, maybe there's like for example, like the chorizo, like you have to know that you want to cook it past the point where the water's gone, and now you want to get it really crispy, right? And especially Asian food. I know Asian food can be very, very complex and very delicate as well. So like, is there anything that rings in your mind, like maybe 2 or 3 of the hardest techniques, or like aspects of a food or cuisine that you need to know in order to like not fuck it up? You know what I mean? And like make something like make it proper, and it would impress.
So I'm gonna pass these tacos over to you now.
Yes, of course.
You gotta get on that.
I'm gonna hit it.
Hit that right quick. All right. First thing that comes to mind is deep frying. Deep frying, you think isn't that difficult, but I've screwed it up enough times to know that it can be. I mean, it's essentially you get a hot vat of oil, right, and you drop something in it, but even like your moisture content will ruin things. So like me and my buddy Dalton, he's my cooking buddy. We made fried chicken.
We tried to get him here.
We did try to get him here. He's working a long day today, so
he's doing the government's work.
Yeah, he's doing the Lord's work. And so we were making fried chicken, and we did all the right things, like you got to marinate your chicken.
This is fucking banging, by the way. Fuck.
And marinate the chicken. Then when you bread it, you dredge it, right? So you put it in like the flour, cornstarch. I like to use potato starch as well. That's what I learned from him. And you just let it sit in there, and it just pulls moisture out and pulls moisture out and pulls moisture out, and then so it clings to more and more of the powder, your powdered starches, and that creates like that thick kind of breading that you love on a fried chicken. That's what you want because it gets really, really crispy, right? And I had this huge pot, with a bunch of oil in it. We had it at the right temperature, and we put 6 chicken thighs in it instead of 4. And that little extra bit of moisture, even though, you're cooking at 350 degrees, which is like almost twice as much of the boiling point of water, and that little bit of extra steam escaping made the breading completely fall off when we went to eat it. And it kind of ruins it. You're like, God damn, because like good fried chicken, the breading sticks, right? And so those little details like that, you did everything right leading up to it. You just kind of filled the fryer too much. Right, yeah. So
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that little bit of something can totally screw. I mean, it's not like it was ruined or like the food wasn't still good, but when you're going for fried chicken, you want crispy breading. And it just like would crumble off as you ate it, and it was just like, oh, I can't believe like we put in all this work, like a day ahead of time. We were setting it up and everything, and just that,
Well, you just had Popeyes for the first time, right?
I did just recently have Popeyes for the very first time in my life, and that shit is redonkulous.
The way that shit crisps is crazy.
Oh my God. And like they drown that shit in sauce. And then it's still just hella crunchy. So I don't know what kind of...
They drown it in sauce?
Whatever I got was saucy.
You didn't just get like the original chicken?
No, I got Louisiana garlic hot. It was brand new, actually. Their sauce is brand new. And
Shout outs to Popeyes.
Honestly,
our new sponsor.
Honestly, black magic they do behind that counter, because that chicken was way too good. And damn. I got wings, and like breaded wings is just blasphemous to me, but they absolutely slapped in a way I just couldn't. Yeah, I didn't expect.
It's greasy though.
Oh yeah, I mean my insides were torn apart, but
it's greasy.
I mean,
but yeah, the way that
you want spicy, greasy food.
Yeah,
you're signing up for that a little bit.
Yeah, it's so fucking good.
So good. Yeah. Don't sleep on Popeyes, guys. I slept on it for 33 years. Yeah.
Well, I didn't really start. Didn't have it until maybe a couple of years ago. Like, well, I might have had it in
It probably wasn't
in Milwaukee.
It probably wasn't in our area for a long time, huh? Yeah, probably not.
Well, not here.
No.
Not in Appleton. It was definitely around. It's definitely around.
Popeyes
Milwaukee.
worldwide?
Oh yeah.
Popeyes
Oh yeah.
worldwide.
For sure.
All right.
Okay, so that's one. So deep frying's one of them.
Yeah, let me think. On a second, something else that's tough.
And when you guys did correct that though, because I think you guys did another round of that when you guys that shit looked crazy. Good.
Yeah, we did correct it. Yeah, I mean, because once it doesn't sit well when you mess it up. If you put in all that work and you're like, oh, we were so close. So yeah, we did correct it, and that was awesome.
Because I remember seeing that final product right there. Well, you have like a wok and all that kind of shit. Like maybe there might be something difficult in that realm, or like
it's different. Wok cooking is a lot different. That was something. I guess that would be a good one for number 2. Cooking with a wok, because it's the kind of like the quintessential Asian cooking tool. And so, like, the best Asian food comes out of a wok, but wok cooking is a lot more difficult because, like, you actually want the pan to be like super duper hot at the very bottom and then not that hot up top, you want to like cycle the food to the bottom, so like it catches the really really high heat, and then but like doesn't burn because if it sat on the bottom, you get that thing so freaking hot it would burn anything. So like a good example. There's a little chemistry for you guys, or thermodynamics more specifically. With your home burner, like if you have like a gas burner at home on your stovetop, is anywhere from like usually 5,000 BTUs to maybe 10,000 BTUs, which is like a measure of heat.
Right.
Heat output. And so like with a wok, you want like 50,000. So you want like a ripping hot thing. And like they even say like you should use like a really high smoke point oil, and you should put it in cold. Because that's how hot it is, that if you put it in at room temperature, it would burn probably. That's how hot you want a wok. And that's why a wok is, you cook things instantly. Like it's super fast. Things are in there for a minute at most.
Oh, fuck. I didn't
like,
know
like
that.
a really good wok cook is like, they have all these things around them and they're just like picking out little, ladling things in one at a time and then kind of shaking it real quick and then it's done. Yeah, it's done within minutes.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And yeah, so I've been trying to learn that a little bit, but it's definitely a steep learning curve on that.
Well, so what? So you're what, going straight from like a propane tank or something like that?
Yeah,
is that the only way to do it?
I used to brew beer. My first dream job was to be a brewmaster.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
I forgot about that.
So I had like an outdoor propane burner that I bought. It was like $60 or something from Menards, which is a Midwest supply shop. And so I started brewing beer with that because you want to boil that outside in case it boils over because it makes it such a gigantic mess. And luckily that thing gets pretty hot. Maybe not 50,000 BTUs, probably more like half that, but it gets pretty dang hot. The only thing that sucks is that it's really short, and whipping a wok while you're sitting down is not very natural movement.
Right, you want to be standing.
Yeah, it helps to be standing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What about have you been making any brews or anything in that realm?
That is something I've completely given up on for years now, which is a very common story with home brewing. You hear about a lot of people who get really into it for a little while and then they get out of it. It's a full day of like you got to devote a full from like essentially morning till, I mean, not if you can make simple stuff where you buy like a kit, you can make that in a couple hours, but like if you want to make something from scratch where you're using the grains, it's like a full day's work. And I used to have, in college, I'd have so many friends who would want to do it with me, and that was fun. But like once you're doing it alone, it's just kind of like, goddamn, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of cleaning. You're just kind of wet the whole time because it's just constantly disinfecting things and like sanitizing. Yeah, that's actually the reason I kind of faded away from brewing, is because you're kind of just a glorified janitor. Not to like talk shit about brewers, like it's cool work, but it's awesome making good beer. But yeah, it just wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. Once I realized how much, it's very, very little goes in. Most of the work is on just cleaning things. There's a lot less on the creative front. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to like manage like the yeast and the fucking temperatures.
Yeah, it's all
and, like,
real. Yeah, the temperatures are real delicate. Your whatever yeast will grow in, bacteria will grow in. So yeah, things like that.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when you were doing that that was in Milwaukee, right? When you were doing that mainly. Yeah, I came back. Every time I would come back from New York, you were. Well, I would try to. I think I saw you almost every single time that I was in Milwaukee when I was coming back, and yeah, you were doing all that stuff, and that was why you still had the roommates and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
Was you want to get into that?
I was about to say, you wanna maybe take a little break here and put this food down?
Yeah, sure.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Right.
Yeah. From Connecticut. Woo! Okay. Me and Tommy are getting a little lethargic over here.
Yeah.
I can feel the lethargicness after those delicious pork
greasy pork tacos.
The chorizo.
Yeah, maybe I'll make a tostada for us before you leave. Extra greasy. Just ready to deep fry the tortilla.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
I also
I do two of them and I make a quesadilla.
Almost like a
put cheese on the quesadilla first, while they're both like frying or like I don't fully submerge them in oil.
Son of a bitch!
I don't fully submerge them in oil.
Okay.
Though.
I'm full sending on that.
Yeah, I put oil in the bottom of the pan.
Oh.
And then it like still like fries like one side of the tortilla, but then I put the cheese on it while it's doing that, so it starts to melt, and then I put the chorizo on it. And then I flip the other tortilla on top of that and let that cook for a bit and then flip that shit over. And it becomes a fucking queso crema pie.
That sounds delectable.
They call
it's a nice move. I like that, Kyle.
They call it the South American cream pie. That's what they call it. My favorite type of cream pie.
Yeah, mine too. Mine too. Certainly not. I'm not big on the North American one, you know.
Neither am I.
Yeah.
Neither am I.
So we re-upped here on our drinks. Paper Planes, round 2.
Yes, Paper Planes, round 2.
Wonderfully done, sir.
What are some of? I think there's kind of like one more thing that I wanted to get to, and we kind of already did it. There's 2 things. So I want to hear your third. So we have deep frying and we have the wok. Okay. And I want to hear one more. And then we're going to get into a couple connection things, and then and then we're going to do a fun little game at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that was coming. Cool.
Yes.
A third difficulty. That's I would say I have to think about this for a minute. I guess we already talked about baking. That's why I feel.
Yeah, true. We did. Yeah.
You know,
I was gonna say something with the pasta, something with the baking.
That's not too tough, but yeah, we kind of already talked about it, so I'm not sure if we.
All right, we can move on.
Yeah,
we can move on from that. Okay, so, the connections and differences that you have been able to experience between cooking, because I know, or at least working in a restaurant. Like, I know you had the job at the Poke Spot, right?
Yeah.
In Milwaukee. I can't remember what other job you had where you were cooking.
Not a ton, actually. There was one other or 2 other jobs that are real short-lived. Not even really worth mentioning. They were like 2 months or 3 months or something like that. So,
yeah. Well,
no, I'm pretty much entirely self-taught, though. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But what I was getting to was the difference between like being behind, like front of house and back of house.
I mean, back of house is
because I never worked back of house.
Yeah, back of house is a little bit more of a lonely experience, as I'm sure you could imagine. First and foremost, you're just not interacting with as many people. You don't really get to interact with the outside world too much. That's not entirely true, but it's a lot less. I mean, it's a lot less people pleasing, which is nice. But it can be it's super high stress. I mean, the sound of the tickets printing and like things are rushing, and that life is not for just anybody, man. There's a lot of you gotta love abuse in a sick and twisted sort of way to really be a good kitchen worker. I don't care if you're cooking or if you're a chef and it's like leading things. Like they're like for real. There's like a level of abuse, and it's super high pressure because like time is of the goddamn essence. Yeah, and so it's super cool though when you have like a team that you work in unison with, and you're flowing. It is like a high for real in a way that I've never even come close to with bartending.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not even remotely close. Because bartending, you kind of got to work your own station, you know, and you're making your drink. It's not like anyone else is helping you make your drink at any point. But like when you're, when you're working in a kitchen, a lot of times it's like you're handing something off to somebody to then finish or start for you. Someone's starting something and you're finishing it, or vice versa, or even like 3 people are working on something and then that comes together at the end. That's like real fine dining.
Right. Right.
But yeah, like once you're in that flow of like, I'm picking something away from you as soon as you're handing it to me, and like I'm finishing it up just as you're getting done with the next thing you're starting, and like working in that tight, because the best kitchens operate really in really tight spaces. You want to keep things condensed because you don't have to move a lot. Less steps you can take, literal steps between things, the better. So like, you know, it's like a dance almost. Like you're learning how someone else fills that space more than anything. Like, you know, the food part comes pretty easy. It's definitely learning how to work around other people. That is pretty exciting in a way, especially when it's like really ramping up and you're really moving. We used to get our food out within like a minute. I remember people were just astounded. Yeah, we were so me and my buddy, dude, we were so good at it. We could go from order printed to like bowl delivered in like 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, doing like a poke bowl.
Yeah, a poke bowl.
Okay, well, that's
so, you know, and like the company standard was 5, so like, you know, we were cutting that by more than half. So like, I remember when our bosses showed up, they were just like, holy shit, you know?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, and it was cool because I remember it was a brand new business that I was working for, and like one of the problems we faced was like getting things done fast enough at the other locations.
Right.
And so they brought me over and they're like, how are you doing it so fast? I'm like, oh, you got this shit way too spread out. Like you gotta get it way more tight, and you gotta move things, you know, and like move it a lot, and then that solved all their problems. And now it's like I don't work there anymore, but it's like a growing franchise. So it's cool to see. Yeah, it's cool to see that. It's cool to see it grow. Yeah.
What was the name of that
Fresh Fin. Check it out if you're from Milwaukee. Really good poke.
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I ate there. I just don't even remember how good it was. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most authentic, but you know, it doesn't really matter the most.
Yeah.
So yeah, not a ton of time in the kitchen though. I didn't work in them all that often, but it didn't take long for me to realize I didn't want to do that for like a career. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't something I wanted.
Well, do you think like bartending is a career for you? I
mean, it's a career right now. Yeah. I don't intend to be in it that much longer, but I definitely I've definitely improved my skills over the past. I've been back in it now for 4 years, and like where I was 4 years ago to compared to now is completely different in just terms of like what I know and all my skills. Yeah.
Oh yeah. For sure.
And bartending's, I mean, in some ways it's the greatest job on the world.
Yes.
You know that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really is. Like there, in a lot of ways, it's the greatest job in the world. Yeah, it's so much fun. You're just around fun. You meet cool people. People take a lot of interest in watching you do it, you know, especially once you get into like craft stuff and you're really using lots of tools and like making all sorts of like fancy stuff. People really appreciate the flow and the movements you make. Yeah, it's like it's cool to watch. It's like a hibachi chef almost, kind of, you know, it's just fun to watch.
100%. A non-shitty hibachi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is it something?
It's a cool profession. It's a very cool profession.
It's a really cool profession. Yeah.
It's just but I think it's more like a fucking lifestyle though. It's not really unless you are at like a really nice like restaurant or bar or like somewhere like a hotel, like almost like the one on Central Park. What's it called?
I can't remember what you're talking about.
No. I'll think about it. It's like the most famous fucking hotel in New York City. Like those bartenders have been there for like 30 years.
Oh,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
I'm
Where
sure.
it's like
Yeah.
you can actually make a profession out of this. Where it's like, like you're good. Like the place is golden. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna have any
slow days
or reason to even think about leaving, and you're like, this is what I fucking do. You know what I mean? Or at least maybe that's just my experience. Like, I've
definitely that's real.
I've had amazing jobs, but I don't think bartending is really a career unless you become a beverage director or you're working at like a crazy place like that where it's like you make a shitload of money and it's always going to be like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like,
it's too variant otherwise. It's hard to like plan a life
like
otherwise.
Commodore Club isn't a career.
No. Not a long-term career. I don't own the place. Maybe, but that's the other professional way of going about it. Or owning a bar.
Yeah, owning your own bar. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so like if you're not going to be doing that as your career, like what do you think you're going to be doing, or like what do you want to do?
So it's funny because I have the degree in chemistry, right? And so thing about me though is that I used to always self-identify as an introvert, right? And I've realized now that I was just lying to myself for a long time. And I think that's actually something a lot of people do is over-index the amount of introversion they have, or like how much of an introvert they are.
I think you're a pretty big introvert.
I don't think I'm not that introverted though. Like I definitely do well in like situations where I'm dealing with people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I excel in that, I would say, compared to like an average person.
Yes.
So like whereas like people who work in like a lab or something like that, like with chemistry, it tends to be a little bit more of a I don't want to say what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like a self-driven thing, I don't want to say a loner because you're definitely working with collaboration, but like definitely like small groups working quietly away in a lab, not too many distractions, not too many other people coming in and out, right? And so I realized that's not where I thrive at all in that sort of environment. So I need to do something where I'm going out and meeting people on a regular basis. I think is kind of where I see myself excelling. So that's where I'm potentially looking to pivot into. Once the bartending thing is over with. Yeah.
What do you think that could be?
Sales is the thing I keep hearing. People keep telling me I'll be good at it, so I think I'm going to check it out. Yeah.
I can see you doing sales. Yeah. What kind of sales though?
I mean, who knows, man? It doesn't really matter that much. Does it make money when you sell it? I don't know.
Doesn't matter that much.
It helps to be passionate about what you're selling, I'm sure.
You got to be selling fucking.
I mean, if it makes you money, you become passionate about it, though. That's like, let's just be real, right? Like, people. There's a line I love. Like, people who tell you to follow your passion are already rich.
Well, I think there's two ways. I think there are people that are passionate about selling certain things, and then there are people that are just they actually, the passion actually comes from not the product, it comes from the process,
the act of getting the sale.
Because like you're saying, it's like something that they realize they're good at. And they're like, holy shit, I'm actually good at this. I'm like, I like doing it.
Yeah, it's not
I didn't know that
thing. People like go to college like, I want to be a salesman. It's not really. I don't think anyone like kids is like their childhood dreams is to be a salesman, right? So it's not something, right? It's something people tend to discover. I would say that's what I've heard at least, and that's kind of what I'm finding about myself too. I wouldn't know. I haven't done it yet, so. But yeah, that's probably where I see myself pivoting.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we'll kind of think about that. What kind of ponder on what kind of sales you're going to be doing. I mean, it could make sense for you to do something more geared towards. Something just turned off. Was that Mike? Oh, it's that camera. It's my camera. Don't worry about that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Your camera's still good to go, and we got the main one.
Nice.
But yeah, I feel like something geared towards, food, beverage, hospitality. I mean, I mean, maybe even selling like fucking cooking ware or something like that because you know so much about that shit. You know, like
Yeah,
that
maybe.
could be huge.
Maybe. But I can learn about anything new.
Yeah, you can.
know.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
I'm just like talking.
No, that'd
I'm
probably
just
be,
talking out loud.
Yeah. No, that's probably a decent first step, potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last thing that we're gonna do, and this is gonna be a little game here.
Yeah, I'm curious what you got lined up.
We're gonna pair some cocktails with some of your favorite dishes.
Oh, okay.
So let's go.
I like that because cocktail pairing isn't really a thing. It's all about wine, right? Beer to a lesser extent. I feel like cocktail pairing isn't something I hear of too often. And cocktails are king
Yeah,
in my book. I don't know.
I think
Wine's fun, but
I think there's definitely. I mean, at least in New York, at the place that I worked at, there were definitely like. There are places that definitely like pair their cocktails with their food, but yeah, let's talk about that. So let's go like your 3 favorite dishes.
my 3 favorite dishes. Number 1 has to be Szechuan noodles.
Ooh.
Szechuan noodles. It's all about the sesh.
Yes, sir.
The sesh.
So fucking good.
Yeah. So it's just something I just learned recently. There's
ridiculously good.
Yeah. When you eat Szechuan, there's a chemical in it called sanshool.
Right.
Right. And that's what affects like the inside of your mouth.
It makes your mouth go numb.
It makes your mouth go numb. Right.
Yeah.
And so when you eat spicy food, there aren't really spicy receptors on your tongue in any way, like there are for like sweet or salty or you know what I'm saying. And so when you feel heat, it's really just pain essentially in your mouth, right? But when you eat spicy food, you also get endorphins from your brain. So when you numb your mouth with the sanshool from the Szechuan peppercorns, and then you eat and then you add spiciness to that dish, you just get all the endorphins with none of the pain. That's why Szechuan's like such like a shovel in your face kind of food because it's like all positive feedback loop when you're eating it.
Damn.
Yeah, so that's why it's so good, and that's why I love it so much. Part of the reason I just also love spicy stuff. It's just just like a really interesting, numbing, and like citrusy, bright floral flavor, and then you add spices on top of it and depth with like Asian things like fish sauce.
Yeah,
and it's amazing. So pairing that is tough because it makes your mouth numb. That's the thing.
I would go something with a bite.
Has to be, right? And it gives like a lemony flavor to things,
right?
But without it being in there,
right?
So you'd almost want it to be. I mean, I'd almost even say.
I would either go something like cucumbery.
Okay,
like,
that's an interesting idea.
Which is also common in Szechuan. Like you always get your cucumbers, right?
You're right. Yeah, you totally do. Yeah,
I would go something like maybe cucumbery and ginny, or maybe cucumbery and like.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I think maybe like a cucumber gin, something in that range, or I would go like something. I mean, you could just go kind of like the same energy and go like Ancho Reyes, like something like really like boozy or rye Ancho Reyes.
I could see even just like a rye on the rocks.
Yeah,
kind of working with that.
Yeah,
something that's nice and smooth, but has that strong bite. Yeah. That's a tough one. Cucumber sounds like the move though, too. Like a nice cooling sort of sensation.
Yeah,
would kind of contrast what you've got going on in your mouth with all the spicy stuff.
Yeah, something along those lines.
That's interesting.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so we got the Szechuan.
Szechuan definitely number 1.
Number 1.
Number 2 would have to be probably carbonara. Carbonara is like one of the most ultimate indulgences.
So good.
That food has to offer. Yeah, it's pretty intense. It's very fatty, very greasy, but just delicious. Pairing that with a cocktail.
Getting some really good cut sausage on top. What's that sausage that they use? Like some really good sausage that they put.
They usually don't put sausage on it. It's bacon.
Well, yeah.
Or it's guanciale, typically.
That's what I mean.
Traditionally. Guanciale is pig cheeks.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's
it kind of looks like a sausage, though.
I meant, I didn't mean to say sausage. I meant to say the pork.
The pork, yes.
The pork, yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Guanciale.
Guanciale, yes. Yeah. So, I mean, typically I feel like it's served with white wine, but if we're going cocktail.
Yeah, definitely.
What about like a white Negroni?
White Negroni.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I would go like some kind of like white spritz. I would go like
Ooh,
a Lillet.
I
Like,
think you win with that. That
like
sounds
a,
even better.
a Lillet Blanc
Because you
with
you
soda
want something
water
with some
and Prosecco.
Yeah, something with a little carbonation, help with all the greasiness of the food. Yeah, that's the move.
I would go a white spritz,
White spritz.
Yeah.
I like that. With a little maybe.
like a Lillet spritz.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds really good.
That's
That
what I
sounds
would do.
Really good.
Lillet, a little bit of soda water,
Yeah.
like San Pellegrino, and then
What, an
some
orange, a lemon?
Prosecco.
Probably a lemon.
lemon.
Yeah, lemon sounds
Lemon.
more right. Yeah.
Yeah, or you could do a grapefruit.
I'm not gonna
with
lie.
Lillet.
I generally, when I make a spritz, I don't cut it with soda water. I just blast off with Prosecco.
Oh yeah, I always put a little soda water.
I mean,
in
it
there.
helps. I don't know.
Definitely.
Like I'm drinking, so I'm just gonna drink anyways.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so that's cool. So yeah,
that's a
even-
pretty
I'm
solid
kind of deciding them for you at this point.
No,
But
I mean, hey,
the white Negroni
yeah.
is a good move. I actually wanted to get a white Negroni like the other day. So delicious.
I haven't had
one
one
of
in a
my
long
favorite-
time. That
one of
sounds
my
really good. I have a friend who's been ordering a lot lately, so it definitely is on my mind.
One of my favorite cocktails.
All right, so that's two noodle dishes. What's something? What would be number 3? My favorite meal.
That is 2 noodle dishes.
Yeah, gotta go not noodle now. Kimchi fried rice. Kimchi fried rice. We'll go with shrimp just to mix it up. Add a little seafood into the mix.
Yeah.
You ever fuck around with kimchi fried rice?
Yeah.
It's the
I
best. It's the best version of fried rice there is.
I agree.
Yeah, there really is nothing close,
I agree.
and it just works so goddamn well. If I was to pair kimchi fried rice, I'd probably maybe even say like a paper plane
I think a paper
might be the move.
I was thinking the same thing.
That sounds delicious. Yeah, that sounds like a really good pairing because you got the bite, you got the citrus,
Yep.
you got the depth with the nonino. Yeah. Wow, look at that.
I was thinking the
It's
same
right
thing.
in my hand. I don't have
Paper
to think that
plane.
hard.
And if it wasn't a paper plane with the kimchi, I would go like, let's see, with shrimp. Yeah. Kimchi, shrimp. Paper plane's a good option. Otherwise, maybe.
You've been nailing these lately, so I'm curious what you want to say.
Let's see, something that would go with kimchi. That'd be close to kimchi.
Kimchi's nice and sour, so I feel like you'd want something with a little bit more. Maybe
I'm thinking about that spice though from the kimchi.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I'm
I'm
thinking
thinking. Okay. Oh wait. Here we go. What about some sort of tequila, or perhaps even a mezcal? I mean, we're talking. This is a global pairing here, and I kind of like that.
I think that could be the vibe.
Some more earthy notes, perhaps.
Yeah, I think that could be good. Like a So Tall or a mezcal or what was the first one you said? Other than mezcal,
It's just tequila.
tequila.
Yeah, just tequila.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like a real simple tequila drink.
Yeah.
Almost like like a tequila with Fresca. Almost kind of thing. No, that's a little too lame, but
But something in
yeah,
that range.
Something
in that range
really
could
basic, but with I want to taste the earth.
Something in that range could work, or you could always make a
Yeah.
cocktail with some kind of like yuzu or
yuzu.
or you could even make like a you could even make a some kind of sake cocktail. Using something like that. That could be nice as well. And kind of same thing like with the Szechuan, like something more towards like something floral, and like cucumbery, like something maybe a little bit fresh with it.
Yeah.
Because with that shrimp, for sure, you're gonna want something kind of fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go. Okay, go.
Okay, good.
Okay, go.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
dude.
Okay,
Okay, dude. Now I'm
Sorry.
kind of drunk, kind of saucy. Kind of saucy from the
Do you usually
paper
drink during
planes.
your episodes? Is this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, typical.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
typically the move.
Yeah, when I was in New York, though.
I mean, it's a social lubricant, so.
When I was there a couple weeks ago, I didn't drink during any of my episodes, though.
Oh.
But I usually like to have a cocktail with somebody.
What are you, fucking square?
That week I was, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I fluctuate, but.
No, I mean, this is, like I said, social lubricant works well for conversation.
It works. I can't read this out loud, so I'm just going to have to show you it.
Is this from our friend?
Yes, this is from our friend.
Oh, God. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Hey, kid. I love you, dude.
Hey, man, this was fun. This
Yeah.
was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
This was a good time, man. Me and Kyle go way back, as far back as they go. So this was cool to do. Food, man. It's where the best memories are made. Generally,
Yeah.
you can have fun on ecstasy at
agree.
like a concert or something, but like
You
for your average Monday night, it's a good time, a good way to make some memories.
You might forget some of that. Yeah.
That too, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, dog.
Cool.
Well,
bro.
shit. Thanks for swinging over and setting this up. This was cool. This was real cool. Hope we can do this again one day.
Yeah. We will. We will for sure.
All right,
I'll get you on the TV show when that.
Yeah,
finally-
exactly.
When that finally
Yeah.
freaking gets
Yeah.
worked out for real.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'll be on the Food Network. It'll all work out.
All right, kid.
Just,
That's my
just
promise.
leaves me hanging over here.
Well, I went like this. I closed my eyes too.
Oh.
After we
We
released,
embraced, and then Kyle went.
my eyes were
"Oh."
closed. I went like this, and this is what I always do. I snap. I snap afterwards. I snap after the release.
That's how Kyle daps up.
Yeah.
That was tight, though. That was tight. Yeah.
All right, kid. Love you.
All right, peace out.
All right, peace.